All right. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in to another edition of Heart to Heart with Dr. Tartt. Heart to Heart with Dr. Tartt today, y'all. I'm always excited. I'm so thankful that God gives me beautiful things. But I started asking questions. I was like, what would I want to know? What I want to know right now that will help improve my relationship, whether I'm single, I'm in a relationship, whether I'm married, or whether it's complicated. All right. So today we're going to talk about the 5 qualities of the person you really need to marry. These are the 5 qualities of the person you really need to marry. Now, by reverse, these are also the 5 things that you need to be. You need to be these 5 things to be marriage material, right? So we can go both ways on this. This is gonna be good. I see you, Jane. I see you, Umi. All right, I see you, Chris. This is good. 5 qualities of the person you really need to marry, and also these are the 5 qualities that you need to be marriage material. Now, before I start, how you doing, Frankie? Before I start, y'all, can I be honest with y'all? How many of y'all have ever been in a toxic relationship or a relationship that did not end the way you needed it to end because they did not have the qualities of a person that was good marriage material, but you were already married. You were already dating them. You already had feelings. You already had kids. You already had your heart in it. Yeah. Yes. We've all been there, right? It is the worst thing in the world to be in a relationship with someone to not have those qualities, or if we're being honest, in our former lives, to not be that person to make a relationship work. We're not perfect. We live and we learn. But today you gonna learn. Today you gonna learn. You gonna learn the qualities. And I was looking at this. You've never heard this stuff. You're not gonna find this anywhere on the internet. You're not gonna find another person talking about this. This is specific to you all, right? To those of you that watch Heart to Heart with Dr. Tart, my friends and my family. Y'all stay in my DMs, and I love it. It's another form of friendship. So anyway, all right, we're gonna dive in. I pray this blesses you, y'all. I pray this blesses you, and this is based on research. That's what I'm trying to do. That's what sets me apart. Is I'm not gonna give you my opinion. I'm gonna give you things that actually work. All right, y'all ready to go? Frankie's ready. Frankie is fired up. All right, and remember, if you're watching this on Instagram, and you want to see the whole thing because you cannot stay during your lunch hour or whatever it is. Always on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. It's on my YouTube. Just put in Dr. Tartt with 2 T's. All right, so let's go. All right. So the 5 qualities of the person you really need to marry. All right. Now, quick commercial. Because I did not know these things, because I didn't know to study these things. Where are these things in books for us to learn? I used to just date women who were fine, and I had chemistry with, and I had connection with, and I laughed with, and I had fun with, and they had the personality that I like. As far as I usually like women with fiery personalities. I do. It's not good for me, but I like that. I was like, we can have fun. We're gonna have passion. We're gonna have a good time. And then I realized that, man, my relationships were ending predictably. And as I get older, I realize, had I had this list, I would have never dated them seriously. Not for a long-term relationship, right? Because these 5 things are the things that I would have asked them up front. Because how many of you know you can be in a relationship, have chemistry, have connection, have the feelings, have attractiveness, right? Have fun, and still it doesn't work out because you don't see commitment in marriage the same way. Come on now. Come on now. All right. I know y'all saying stop teasing us. Let's dive in. All right. So these are 5 qualities um, of the person you really need to marry. All right. Now I realize some of this is gonna hit you because you're already married. All right. These are the 5 things that you either need to do or your partner needs to do. All right. Candy's with me. She's getting. All right. Number 1, you need a satisfier. Yes, I know you're saying, what? You need a satisfier. All right. You need someone who wants to satisfy you. Now, this sounds simple, but this is actually deep. I have notes. I have notes, right? You need someone whose mindset is in a relationship, in a marriage, I want to satisfy my spouse. I want to satisfy. I want to be satisfying to them, and I also want to be satisfied. So if I'm in a relationship with someone and they're not satisfied, that's a problem for me, because then I'm going to change, right? Because I want the person to be with me. I'm gonna be a satisfier. Now the problem is, I see you, Bethany. The problem is sometimes we get in relationships with people who are not satisfiers. They're there like you're there to like me. All right. And if you don't like me, you can bounce. If you don't like me talking this way, if you don't like me doing it this way, if you don't like me saying it this way, if you don't like me doing my life this way, right? If you don't like me you can go. How many of y'all been there? You can go. They're not interested in saying, well, let me see how I can integrate or at least switch my life or switch how I do things in a relationship so that you can be satisfied. So the first thing you want is someone who is a satisfier. All right. So I'm going to read these 5 questions, y'all. 5 questions. And this comes from the research. All right. This is what you're looking for in a relationship so it can have high satisfaction levels. Is I feel satisfied with our relationship. My relationship is much better than other relationships. That's question number 2. Number 3, my relationship is close to ideal. Hey, Adriana. Number 4, our relationship makes me very happy. Number 5, our relationship does a good job of fulfilling my needs for intimacy. It does a great job of fulfilling my needs for intimacy. Now, why is this important? All right. Because this is how we want our partners to think. I feel satisfied with our relationship, right? So someone feels satisfied with the relationship. All right. They're doing the things to make it satisfying. My relationship is better than other relationships. Why is that important? Well, I actually aspire for us to have a dope marriage, for us to have a dope relationship. I don't want to be in a mediocre relationship where we're not talking, we're not connecting, we're not building, we're not dating, we're not talking about tough stuff, we're giving each other the silent treatment. No, 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 no. I want my relationship. Like, imagine you dating someone. You be like, hey, you know what? Do you believe in having mediocre relationships? No, no, no. What would you do if you found that our relationship was lackluster or becoming average? Now, I would go to a seminar. I would watch a live. I would read a book. I would get counseling. I would go talk to our pastor. No, I want to have a satisfying marriage. How many of y'all have seen marriages and you like they married, but I don't want to be them? How many of you unfortunately saw your parents? They were married 40 years, but they weren't happy. They weren't happy for 40 years. Right? Like, no, no, no. So you want someone to say, my relationship is close to ideal. Isn't that the whole goal? Like we want ideal money. We want the ideal job. We want the ideal health. You want the ideal figure, right? You want the ideal car, right? But when it comes to relationships, you want something to be less than ideal? No, I want the ideal relationship means that I want us to fit. I want us to connect. All right. Our relationship makes me happy. Yeah, I want to be in a relationship that makes me happy. Right? Are you happy? All right, am I happy? Let's talk about it. If you're not happy, let's talk about it right now, how we can be happy in this relationship. Are y'all getting it? You need a satisfier. And number 5, our relationship does a good job of fulfilling my needs for intimacy. What are we getting in a relationship for, fam, if it's not to fulfill our emotional needs for intimacy? I don't want to get in a relationship just to have something to do, right? I see someone, I'm not gonna call him out, but FR said, his parents were married, but they were miserable, right? So we don't want that. We want a marriage that's amazing, right? Umi says, I grew up seeing an ideal marriage. I want that fire. I want that. We all want that, right? Frankie's saying he wants emotional intelligence. That's right. That EQ. Y'all give a shout out for Frankie. I wish I could give y'all badges, right? Give y'all stickers and super stickers, right? But shout out for Frankie and Umi, right? So when we start doing this, right? So the relationship does a good job of filling my needs for intimacy. Where am I going? Right? I'm good. I thank y'all for the Facebook thumbs up, right? I'm good, right? Thank you, Frankie. I'm sorry. Thank you for correcting me. Frankie is a woman. All right. So shout out for Frankie, right? She's saying that this is what she wants, right? She wants that, right? So y'all got it? So what's number 1, y'all? Type it in the chat. You want a satisfier. That means that they have a mindset of satisfying whom they're with. And if you're a satisfier and they're a satisfier, you're going to have goals. Isn't that what you want in your high-end hotel? Come on now. Isn't that what you want from your high-end dealership for your car? Isn't that what you want at a high-end restaurant, that they're there to satisfy you? How many of us have been to a restaurant and they act like um that it's our privilege to dine in their restaurant versus trying to satisfy us? Like, hey, what do you want? What would you like a table? What would you like? What do you have a taste for? You know what? Oh, you're vegan, you're vegetarian, you have food allergies. We'll make something for you that satisfies your palate, right? We'll seat you where you want to be seated. We'll serve you the wine. We'll serve you the foods. We'll give you the appetizers. We'll give you desserts. We'll give you any. And if we make a mistake, we will satisfy you. Not the next time. We'll do it right now. Can we take it off the menu? Can we prepare something else? The chef comes out and is going to apologize, or the server is going to apologize. When you said medium rare, I heard medium. This is medium, not medium rare. I will go and prepare something else for you, and we'll give you a complimentary dessert on the house. My apologies, my sincerest apologies. You did say that, and I wrote it down wrong, right? Man, that's all we want. We're okay with people messing up, but do you have the attitude of satisfying your partner? How many of y'all, just be honest, how many of you can raise your hand? Like, if you just asked that question right there, you would have eliminated some of your exes. I'm raising my hand high. All right, because they were not there to be a satisfier. They were there to be satisfied. I never even asked, are you the type of person who wants to satisfy me, right? Equally. Like, let's have a competition in satisfying someone, right? All right, come on now. Sharmika is saying this is right. Shamika saying both hands raised. Frankie's saying both hands raised, right? It's Kenny says people say that they want the ideal, but not willing to put in the work. Lord have mercy. It takes work from both people. Listen. Shout out to Is Kenny's, right? For sure. People say they want to do it, but they don't do it. How many of you all are the harder worker when it comes in relationships? All right. I can raise my hand almost every time. All right. And the reason that my current relationship is working out is I'm with someone who equally wants to be a satisfier. All right. She equally wants to take it to the next level. She equally wants me to be happy. I want her to be happy. If either one of us is unhappy, we have a problem. Because we can't just have one person happy and the other person unhappy. That's some old narcissistic type stuff. That's some selfish type stuff. That's some self-absorbed type stuff. How we gonna have a good relationship if one of us is a 5 and the other one's a 9? Like, this working for me. Oh, you a 5? That's your problem. Woo! I'm retired from that kind of relationship. How many of y'all can file your retirement papers? How many? Come on, y'all. Come on with me. How many of y'all can retire from that kind of relationship? Like, you'll never do that type it in the chat. I retire. I will always be with the satisfier. You're gonna have to match my energy. All right. So that's number one. Be with a satisfier and be a satisfier. You can't be the weakest link. Can't be the weakest link. All right. Jordan says she retired. She done. Bye. Never again. Saranara. Adriana says she's retired. Brandy is retired. Right? Right? Frank says she's gonna always be that satisfier. So come with that energy. Right. So y'all are retired. I'm retired, y'all. I'm retired. Yori is tired. Y'all get it. Retired. Never. She said a year ago today. Not doing it again. Not doing it again. Right? All right. Number 2. All right. So the first thing you need is a satisfier. The second thing that you need is an investor. You need an investor. And y'all alluded to this. Lizzie said is a wrap, right? She's retired. If we alluded to this earlier, we need an investor, y'all. An investor. Anyone can say they're gonna do the work, but do they do the work? Do they actually invest? How many of you have been in relationships where you were doing all the work? You were doing all the apologizing. You were doing all the trying to have a negotiation, trying to split the difference. I know the book says never split the difference, but in a relationship, we trying to split the difference. We trying to both be happy. How many of y'all, you doing all the praying, they doing all the watching you pray? All right. You doing all the fasting. They doing all the eating. You doing all the counseling. They can't even show up. You doing all the reading. You looking at all the YouTube videos. You getting the marriage mentors, the relationship mentors. You on the phone asking how things could be better, and they down there watching a Netflix special, right? How many? How many? Umi said she made PowerPoints, right? PowerPoints of what needs to happen. This is how we can move in our relationship to make it happen. They weren't even paying attention. Right? We need an investor, y'all. We need someone that's going to invest in a relationship. And just like investments can be measured, like we can measure how much investment. Like I went in, I made an investment into crypto. I made an investment into my education. I made an investment into my ministry degree. I made an investment in my parenting skills. I made an investment in my marital skills, meaning that you can count the money, the classes, the consults, the conversations, the time spent working on something to get better. I invested in it. If someone invests in your business, they want a return on investment higher than what they invested. That means if you invested 10,000, you can look at it. It's not saying I'm gonna. How many of y'all been in a relationship? I'm gonna do it. I'll go to counseling after you break up with them. All right, I'll change after you haven't spoken to them in 5 days. But they never did the work. All right. So here are the 5 questions, y'all. Here are the 5 questions that y'all need to. This is what we're looking for when we start talking about investment. Why couples that stay together are invested in one another. Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. Number one. All right. Your partner's able to say, I have put a great deal into my relationship that I would lose. Meaning, like, I put so much into this thing that if we break up, I would lose a lot. I didn't put my kids in this thing if it's a blended family. I didn't put my mama and daddy in this thing. They call, they're your mother and father-in-law right now. I didn't put my resources in this thing. I didn't put my heart in this thing. I put vacations in this thing so that we could do together. I put my heart. Come on, y'all. Can church say amen? I have put a great deal. I didn't just watch this relationship. I didn't sit around and watch LeBron James shoot the ball. I was LeBron James. I was LeBron James playing with Anthony Davis. I was Steph Curry playing with Klay Thompson. Right? I was Trae Young playing with DeJounte Murray. I'm invested. I'm shooting buckets too. I'm getting rebounds too. I'm putting buckets up too. Y'all feel me? All right, come on now. All right. Farrah said it's what I'm talking about. Right? Sharmika is saying measured results. All right. So number 2, compared to other people I know, I've invested a great deal. That means you want to be with someone that's trying to out invest other people in their relationship. So you see how their relationship is mediocre? We go into a marriage retreat every year. You see how their marriage is falling apart because they argue all the time and won't go to counseling? I'm signing up for the counseling. Right? I'm gonna do individual and couples to make sure it's not me and then focus on what we're doing. I don't need that. I'm gonna invest in whatever needs to be invested. Compared to other people, I'm willing to invest more in my relationship. How many of y'all would like to be with someone that says, look, compared to everyone else you might date, I'm willing to invest more to make sure that my relationship works with you? Come on now. Frankie said, sign her up. Sign me up again. Sign me up, y'all. Y'all want to woo me? Sign me up. Like, look, compared to anyone, I'm willing to invest. Right? We have an argument and you downstairs looking at a video on how we can communicate better. Better yet, how you can communicate better if you were wrong, right? Or sending me a YouTube message and saying, hey, I think that if we do this, it could work better. Come on now. Number 3, I feel very involved in our relationship. Like I put in a great deal, meaning like, yo, it's not just up to the woman. It's not just up to the man. It's not just up to one of us to make our relationship work. I plan dates too. Yeah. I plan dates too. I work on my stuff too. Right? I'm very involved in our relationship. Right? I will cancel a meeting if I can, if we need to have quality time, or I will do the work, take a lunch break with you, and come back and do the work. I put in a great deal in our relationship. I don't say I have to work or it's all about the kids. No, our relationship gonna be front and center. I believe in a God of abundance. I can do and I can have a great relationship, be amazing at work, and be an amazing parent, and take care of my parents. I can do all of them at the same time. I'm gonna make sure our relationship doesn't slip, even if I have to slip it in even if we have to have a car date, Even if we have to pull up and Uber Eats and eat in the car in your office, or you pull up to my office parking deck because one of us can get off and the other one needs to be back on their laptop, I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be parking lot pimping with my lady. Come on, y'all. I'm willing to do whatever. I'm willing to pull up, right? I'm willing to pull up because in my relationship, I'm gonna put a great deal. I'm not gonna let it fall. I'm not gonna make it fall. Right? Frank says this stage in her life, she wants a hiking buddy. And so you must be willing to hike. There it is. Right. And so that's a great point that Frankie makes because someone like me, I don't like hiking, but I do like you. All right. And so if I like you and you like hiking because I'm a satisfier, come on now, the church, I'm gonna do the things that you really need to do because that's what you're supposed to do, especially if you're doing the same thing for me. If you don't really like sports, but you're willing to go to the Falcons game, even though they lose more than they win, because you know I like it, why would I not go hiking with you? Right? Matter of fact, and because I'm an investor, I'm gonna invest in the gear. I'm gonna get some dope boots. If I'm gonna get one of those walking sticks, I'm gonna get the little thermos that goes on your helmet or whatever you do, to so I can drink water while I'm moving. I'm gonna make sure that I had the right gear. Right, I'm gonna show up on time. I'm gonna go to sleep the night before, so I'm not complaining the whole time we out there. It's too hot, it's too cold, I'm tired. No, I'm gonna invest in this relationship because if I'm in, I'm in, I'm in with a good attitude now. The same way I want you at a game cheering for the Falcons, even though we lose 31-7. I want you up when they score a touchdown, being like, "Thank God we didn't get blown out. Thank God we didn't get shut out." Come on now, right? Come on now. I see you, Pamela. I appreciate she attended something I did for EXL Church. Shout out for EXL Church, right? All right. So someone said, Brandon said, all I wanted was the last name and willingness. That's it. All right. Someone said the Bears. Man, y'all know, the Bears. Anyway, we're not going to talk sports. You really need to be quiet talking about the Bears. But see, if you're a Bears fan, I can support Justin Fields, right? Because he's a brother, right? Even though he did go to a bad school, college. Talking about Ohio State. Anyway, number 4, many aspects of my life have become linked to my partner. This is really important. When we start looking at the research of why couples stay together, right? They're invested, meaning like they put in so much that people see them as one. How many of y'all have been in that relationship when you see one, they like, where's so and so? Where's your husband? Where's your wife? Where's your girlfriend? Where's your boyfriend? Right? Y'all have done so many things together. You've posted online. People just see you as one, right? Those relationships stay together because we're becoming a team, right? Like for real. Like if you don't see one of us, you're gonna see the other. We're gonna be here. And then number 5, my relationship with friends and family would be complicated. Meaning that if we broke up, like we're so invested, not only as a couple, but as because we've combined families, whether you've been dating a long time or you're married, that it's hard for us to break up because that means that I'd have to break up with your mom. I'd have to break up with your sisters. I have to break up with your brother. I have to break up with your friends. I have to break up with the neighbors. I have to break up with the church we go to. I have to break up with the gym where we go do the couples workouts together. I have to break up with our investment group. Are y'all feeling me? Are y'all seeing how this works? Like we so invested. We do so many things together, but we also do some things separate. We don't need to be, we don't need to be enmeshed, right? We don't need to be one. We don't need to be codependent on each other. But we do so many things together that if we broke apart, like my social world would crumble, my spiritual world would crumble, my financial world would crumble, my family life would crumble, right? I couldn't even volunteer with the same organization because we part of the same organization. So how I move to the same organization if we do? We too invested. All right. I mean, are y'all feeling me? Are y'all getting this? All right. So Jane says, when my mom, well, Jay says, my mom got married, she did not drive. She watched my dad drive and then taught herself while he was asleep in the day. He worked nights. She told him, I want to take the driver test. He laughed at her. Right. So what she's saying is that this is a woman who was invested, right? Like my man shouldn't do all the driving, or the man was invested and I'll take care of it. But she was willing to do the work to be able to help him out, right? And maybe she was also saying that her husband was like, no, you don't even need to drive. I'm good. I want to satisfy you to the point if you don't know how to drive, you don't want to know how to drive, I will drive you around. right? All right. So Bonnie said, I hear you. But what about Will and Jada? They said that. All right. So you're gonna know that I never really talk about people's personal business, right? Because I don't want people talking about my personal business when I get up to a certain status, and because I've interviewed a lot of celebrities, they really don't like when people talk about them and try to cancel them, and you don't know the inside scoop. But what we can say is that that marriage was non-traditional, and y'all know if y'all read the book, y'all are going to see that lacked a lot of these things, right? And we all can lack those things. That relationship lacked the satisfier and the investor. They were not equally invested, right? And that they did not believe in mutual satisfaction, right? So I think that's a good case example. Not to use them, but one of the things that they talked about in the book was that there was not mutual satisfaction, right? Can y'all be real? Like one, Will was happier than she was a lot of the times, right? And then the investment in a marriage, one partner feel like, okay, I'm more invested in our fidelity than you are. I'm more invested in keeping whatever we're doing quiet or whatever, right? So you see, those two things didn't work in that particular scenario from a distance, and I hope that both are able to go on to be happy with whomever they're supposed to be. All right. Okay, so Jay was telling me the rest of the story. She said she passed the driver's test, and then she told him, "I need you to give me a car." He worked overtime and got her one, and then she got a part-time job to help. Come on now, can the church say amen? I mean, for real. So she was saying like I need you to help. I need you to get me a car, and then I'm gonna get a car so that I can work, so that you don't have to work so much. That's what I'm talking about. Mutual investment. Shout out to Jane. Send Jane a cash app. Y'all cash app Jane, y'all. All right. So that is grace. That is great. Shamika says, how do you build and slowly invest in your partner if you're just dating and not married yet? Listen, the investment can start as soon as y'all really are committed to one another, right? So like you can be invested in someone's dreams, and you can get him a book on real estate. You can be invested in a sister's dream to make sure that her parents are healthy, and strategize with her about how to get her parents to stop eating so much red meat, right? That's an investment, y'all. That's super important. I mean, how many of y'all will just be overwhelmed with gratitude for someone to come around and help strategize with you on how to get your parents, your mom, your dad, or both of them to be healthy? Right? Let's figure out this. All right. What about if we get them like one of those impossible burgers, and we don't tell them it's an impossible burger, and then they like it, and then we say, hey, you just had vegan burger, you didn't know it. All right. What about if we switch out the what about if we get the grass fed beef? Is that better than doing it? What about if we get them some new recipes? What about if we send them to a wellness seminar with other adults their age? What if we talk to the doctor and get some different ideas? What if we go visit the dialysis center so that they can see that this is where we headed, so they can't be in denial, and we just act like we going in there to meet up with someone, whatever. Y'all get what I'm saying, right? Like let's partner on this. That's an investment. That's how you do it. And if someone's invested in you like that, and even if they leave, they're gonna be operating in a deficit. Like, look, I had all that and I let that go, right? Either they're depressed, they're not good at relationships, or they're gonna realize they made a mistake and come back. That doesn't mean you're gonna take them. All right. So let me go faster. Number one is a satisfier, y'all. These the five qualities that you need. The five qualities of the person you really need to marry. This is what you need to be marriage material. Satisfier and investor. Okay. Um, number two. All right. Number two, Tamara says she's heard this before, right? She has a book in her Amazon cart to help him pursue his dream. Yes, right. But he also needs to be doing the same thing for you. Sometimes we can be helping and we're not requiring mutual investment, right? So if I'm invested in you and you're not investing in me, how that's gonna work? If I have $50,000 in our business and you have none, how you think that's gonna work? Who you think gonna be doing all the work? The person that has no skin in the game, the person that did not get wet, or the person that's all the way in? If I'm in 50K, you can best believe I need a return on that investment. You need to be in 50K. right? You need to be in 40K. You need to be in. Don't let me be in this thing together. Don't let me be in this relationship. And I'm the one fasting and praying and hoping and living the right way and living discipline and resisting people in my DMs. And you over there just entertaining everybody. No, come on. No, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. That is not going to work. All right, number 3, you need a turner. You need a turner. Now, what is a turner? A turner is someone who turns towards you, right? So here's interesting. In the research, there's this thing called bids for attention. All right. Bids for attention is where you bid for your partner's attention, meaning I would like for us to talk today. You put in a bid for their attention, just like an auction. All right. How much for some talk? How much for some cuddling? How much for a strategy session? How much for some quality time? How much for some loving? Right? How much? Right? How much for us to be able to sit down and go shopping on Black Friday? Right? All right. So a bid's for attention. So when our partners make a bid for attention, we need people to pay attention to us. Let me read this shocking statistic, y'all. Shocking statistic. All right. Um, in couples who were successful, deemed strong couples. All right. So these couples were strong, meaning they were connected, and the researchers said these are strong couples. 86% of bids for attention are returned. So in strong couples, that means that when one of you asks for attention, 86% of the time, your partner said yes. All right. You want to watch a show? Let's watch it. You want to go outside and take a walk? Let's do it. You want to eat something? I'm not hungry, but you want to eat right now. You don't want to eat alone. All right. I can eat half my meal and put the rest of it in the refrigerator. 86% of the time. Isn't that what we signed up for? Isn't that what we signed up for, to get in a relationship and pay attention? That doesn't mean that you agree with everything, but that means that you can't be in a relationship and not turn to your partner's bid for attention, not pay attention for them. Now, by contrast, struggling couples, so couples who are struggling, like they came in and said, we're struggling, we're not doing well, only 33% of bids are returned. Only 33%. So that means 2 out of 3 times your partner wants attention, you're saying no. Nah, let's go to the game. I don't watch sports. Let's watch this science fiction show on Netflix. No, I don't believe in it. That fake stuff I don't watch. All right. Let's go get a pedicure and manicure. I'm a male. I don't want to get a manicure or a pedicure. That's not manly. Well, I get it, but it's allow us to spend some time and we can do some self-care, right? At least go get a pedicure. At least let them massage your feet. Right. When I was in Dominican, my wife had me put my feet in this tub, where they have the fish. I don't know what they're called. All right. Well, what are the fish that eat the stuff off your feet? I did not want to do it, y'all. I did not want to do it. I thought it was foo shishi. I thought it was a waste of money. I thought it was one of those things that looks good on the internet, but is not good in real life. And it tickled, right? But I sat there next to my wife while she did it, and we laughed, and she took video of me, and she was like, I'm so glad that you were a good sport. But I was like, this is a colossal waste of money, but this is relaxing, right? And I am curious to see, what these fish are actually doing, right? So what I'm saying is I'm turning towards. See, this is something she wants to do on vacation, y'all. Right? This is something she wants to do on vacation in the spa. If I'm a struggling couple, I'm gonna say, no, I don't do that. I'm gonna let her do it by herself and miss an opportunity. Was it really that big a deal that I put my feet in here and see what these fish do? Is that really gonna kill me? Right? If I want a relationship to work, I have to be a turner, y'all. Come on, are y'all getting it? I have to be a turner. I didn't really want to put the Christmas stuff up the day after Thanksgiving. Matter of fact, we put our stuff up before Thanksgiving. Now that I think about it, I didn't really want to do it. All right. But my wife wanted the house to look festive. The kids say, yeah, let's make the house look festive. So guess what I did? I went and I got the tree. We have one of them huge, like 12-foot, 14-foot trees. So I went and got this thing, brought it up. I had to bring it up in 3 pieces, had to assemble it, wrap it with lights. It's a lot. And I still have stuff to do outside, y'all, right? But since the girl likes the holidays, it can turn towards, right? Now, why am I doing that? When I come home, sister girls worked a full-time job, and I say, I'm hungry. Did you cook? Sister girls already cooked, even though she already has a full-time job and is doing more parenting than I am. because she's gotten home before me. So aren't we supposed to be turning towards one another versus I don't feel like it all the time? You get what I'm saying? Can you see how this breaks the relationship? Can y'all see it? Can y'all see? All right, so a satisfier, an investor, and a turner. Right? All right, number 4. All right, this is big. This is big. It's gonna hit y'all right in the face. You need an adapter. You need an adapter. You need someone who has the ability to adapt to what's needed by you in the relationship. Mm. You have to be who you need to be to fix the relationship. So, how many of you all have gotten, and thank you, Luana, how many of y'all have gotten in a relationship and your needs changed, right? You got into a relationship and you wanted to party all the time, right? You wanted to go get lit, you want to have a good time, right? Or maybe you were a homebody and you wanted to chill, but now you're bored and you do want to get out, all right? And you express this to your partner and then be like, nah, that's not me. That's not me, right? That's not me. No. An adapter is someone who's willing to adapt to what is needed for the relationship right now. Come on now. I know we're only 4 in out of 5, but how many of y'all can say this list is pretty good for me, right? And I like that's why I'm sharing it with you, right? And so when we look at this, it's like, yeah, this right here is an ideal relationship. These are legit 5 qualities, right? Because when things change, can you adapt? Can you adapt when the kids go off to college? Can you adapt if we try to have kids, but we're unable? Can you adapt? I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Can you adapt after a miscarriage that I might need some more TLC or I might need some space? Can you adapt after mom is gone on to be with the Lord? Can you adapt after I lose my job? Can you adapt when we've come all the way up? Money's not an object. Can you adapt when we're in a new city and we had to change because one of us got an amazing dream job, but I left all my friends where we were? Can you adapt? And can you adapt and say no to the next position change, right? Moving again, because I just got settled and I don't want to move 3 times in 5 years. Can you take one? Can you turn from me and just keep your position, right? Or you travel and come back to the house, right? Work on hybrid, brother or sister. Can you adapt for me in a relationship? Can you adapt, right? Now, here's why, all right? When couples get ready to call it quits, all right, they say the following 3 things. I want y'all to hear this. When the couples get ready to call it quits, these are the 3 things that start going through their mind according to the research. Number 1, see, I don't think I'm making this up. Number 1, my alternatives are attractive. Dating another or being by myself is a better alternative than being with you. Because you failed to adapt to me, dating someone else is better for me, all right? Or being by myself is better for me, right? Like I have better alternatives than being with you. I'm just keeping it real. I'm saying it so your partner doesn't have to say it to your face and get your feelings hurt, right? Number 2, my alternatives to this relationship are pretty close to ideal. Hey, listen, I can re-up. I can meet a brother who has no problem driving me to work every day, right? For what I do, for me cooking, for me having intimacy, for me being a satisfier, for me being able to take care of your mom and do it with love and tender care, I can find a man that have no problem taking me to work because I don't feel like driving. I can find that. I can find another woman that if I bring up something I want her to change, that she doesn't get defensive and she says, you know what, that's tough for me to hear. Let me work on it. And then contacts a life coach or does whatever she needs to do to be better for herself and for me. I can find someone to do that. I can find someone to do that, right? I can, brothers are looking at you right now. Sisters are looking at me right now in food court, right? I can find people, right? Number 3, if I were not dating my spouse, I would do fine. I would find another appealing, meaning I see other people around. I don't believe in one soulmate forever. I could break up with you, dude, and find someone else. I could break up with you and marry Russell Wilson. Yes, I could. I could break up with you, you know, and marry J. Blige, right? I can be just fine. I'm gonna be good, the type good. I can be good. I'm not gonna go through this. I'm not gonna ask for things that I need. I'm not gonna act like our marriage needs to stay in 1990, right? I've changed since we first got together. I don't want to get high anymore. I don't want to drink. I don't want to weigh 362 pounds anymore, right? I'm trying to live. I'm trying to live. Thank you, Chris, for the badge, right? I'm trying to do these things, right? Like Frank said, I could be good, right? I really could. So make sure that you have someone that when you're in a relationship and you ask them up front, if my needs change, if our needs change, how good are you at adapting to what's needed for the current reality that we're in? Right? Like we're in COVID, right? At one point in time, right? We're gonna have to work at home together. Are you gonna have to accept that I'm a doctor and working from home is not an option for me? Right? I'm gonna have to adapt. I'm gonna have to come home and I'm gonna have to take my shoes off and take a shower as soon as I come in the house because I'm around people all day. School teachers had to do that. Thank you, Miss Kenny, for buying a badge, right? Because I don't want to contaminate my family, right? But I have to work. So when I come home, I'm not gonna just come home and pop my shoes off in the house. I'm not gonna come in and lay on the couch with all this stuff from the hospital, or the school, or the ambulance, or the fire truck, or the operating room. Like those things didn't stop, right? I can adapt for what we need, and even though I don't want to come straight in, take strip in the garage or the mud room or whatever you have, and go straight to the shower, and then come see you, and then put those clothes in a bag and put them in a washing machine, right? I can adapt if you lose your job. Right, I can go hard in the paint to hold it down until you get another one. I can adapt, even though you weren't working before. I can go get a job. You out the league. I see a lot of athletes. You're out the league before you thought you were out the league. I can go in insurance, right? And hold down this bag while you're trying to figure out whether you want to go back into the league, you want to go into coaching. You need a year to get your bearings because you are not prepared. You did not know you were gonna have a knee injury. You know, as a sister, you did not know that you were gonna go to this company and be elevated as fast as you are, and now you're a regional vice president, and you're required. You are now responsible for 3 or 4 regions because you had people who you outperform. You didn't know this was coming. Can your husband adapt to you making more money all of a sudden? Can you adapt, brother? Can you adapt from giving her money to her not needing your money? Maybe even taking a lead on a project because Sister Girl's doing. Come on, let's be real. We're doing all this podcast stuff. But in real life, both partners are going to out earn one another at different parts of their career. That is going to happen for some and many couples just due to the nature of things being up and down. If you're with quality people, they're going to be recognized as quality in other places. Your husband is going to have to go through some discrimination sometimes, and then your husband is also going to be the one that's going to come into some ridiculous money. Your wife is going to be her. Right? She's going to be her. She's going to be not only her, but they and them. She is the answer to the company making all this money. It's her company, right? And she's making money hand over foot while you're working a job. You're gonna have to deal with that, but you can adapt to it. You can be like, "Ain't no problem. That's nothing for me. That's nothing for me, right? Like, hey, I'm with you when we up, with you when we down. We do need to adapt, right? Like, you do need to kind of slide me the card under the table because I do want the appearance of paying for things. All right, you may be a man, you don't care. Whoever's up is up. Our money's our money. Doesn't matter who put in what. I don't care about those percentages. Just put something in, and you don't even have to put something in if you're not feeling good. You don't have to put something in if I can afford for both of us. You get, it depends on where you are. Can you adapt? Can you adapt, y'all? Come on now. Can you adapt? Man, man. All right. And so number 5, and then we'll wrap up. All right. So far, 5 qualities you're looking for: a satisfier, attitude of satisfaction; an investor, someone that's willing to do the work, and I talk about it. Number 3, a turner. They're willing to act like they're in a relationship, meaning that it's not all about what I want. I have to turn towards the things that you want to do. Imagine that in a relationship. Imagine that we actually have to be selfless enough to actually turn towards some things our partner wants us to do that we don't want to do. Imagine that is a skill that's needed in a relationship. Oh my goodness. But how many of y'all have been with people that don't turn? This is me. I'm never gonna change. All right, well, you don't get changed out. You don't get changed out. All right. Adapter. You need someone to adapt because in your relationship, things change. We're not gonna be the same marriage. It's not gonna be the same relationship. We change. We change over time. I hope you change over time. How we gonna have the same marriage from back in the day? That's like trying to play 1990s R&B in the club right now. Actually, that's not a bad idea. This music today ain't playing. I don't know. All right, so scrap that. Strike that from the record. 90s R&B is better than 2020. The 2020s R&B, which sound like anyway. I'm not gonna hate. All right, number five. Number five thing you need. You need a visioneer. You need someone that has a vision for your marriage, has a vision for himself, has a vision for herself, has a vision for your family, has a vision for your extended family, has a vision for your kids. And we can sit down and we can have a shared vision, meaning that it says in the word, it says, without a vision, the people perish. So we reverse that with a vision, the people must flourish. Come on now. Like, but on a deeper level, right? Don't you want to be with a partner that has a vision for where y'all are going? Ebony, don't you want to be with a partner that says, hey, you know what? We're getting up there. We're 50. All right. And I have a vision for how we can retire by 55 so that we can see the world before our knees give out. We can work when we want, if we want, where we want, how long we want, on what we want. I have a vision for this. I have a vision for how we can incorporate your family, your parents living with us, are getting quality senior care. And I need us to be able to talk about that because they're getting older. And I want to make sure that both of our parents have quality care. All right, because we don't want to. We have so many things going on. We want to make sure that they're taken care of, and our relationship is not strained. Can church say amen? I have a vision on how we can do that. I have a vision, right? All right, and so here's the questions for vision, right? Tamara says I can always support a man with vision, right? Frank said, put a tiny house in the backyard and the problems are solved. Right. So I mean, these things are real, right? Like this is something that I want in a partner. This is something that you want in a partner and say, hey, let's put our heads together on how we can do this. Are we able to afford an in-law suite to if our parents are aging and we're afraid of them falling? Can we get a big enough house to where we have our children stay in the basement if they need to come back home? All right. If money is an issue, how do we make sure that we're able to have the kids come home, but us not go back to like they're in high school and they actually respect the fact that we still gonna date, that we're not gonna cook for them, they're gonna cook for us, they're gonna give us rent, they're gonna make life easy for us. If you're living with us, you're gonna make it easy for us to retire because you're paying 1/3, 1/4, 1/2 of that mortgage, brother and sister. Right? Like, come on, let's have a shared vision for how we do this. Right? James says somewhere in the Bible it says a triple braided cord is not easily broken. That is in Ecclesiastes 4 verses 12 and 13. Right? Look at that, look at that Bible knowledge. That was right off the dome, y'all. That's also one of my favorite scriptures. All right. So don't act like y'all can just say, hey, where is this in the Bible? And I'm gonna regurgitate it. I can do that with some, all right, but not all. All right. So here are the 5 questions you want to ask on shared vision. We're gonna be out of here. All right. I am committed to maintaining my relationship with my partner. I'm committed to maintaining, not only being in it, but maintaining it. And by maintaining it, we're talking about our vision of where we're going so I can adjust along the way. I'm making the adjustments, right? All right. It's like a chef. All right. You say, all right, no, don't put any salt in there. Okay. All right. They put salt down. All right. The restaurant, they're making real time just revisions. Okay. You don't like that. Okay. You don't want gravy on that. They're writing that on the pad. No gravy. Right. They're making it. I want to make sure our relationship works. I want to make sure that you're happy. Now you ordered gravy last time, but this time you didn't. I'm making real time. How many of y'all want someone to make real time adjustments? Share vision. Okay. You don't want to work anymore. All right, cool. Let's talk about why. And let's talk about the strain on me. I'm okay with that. Okay, you want to retire, but I don't want to retire. All right. How about I come home for lunch? I get it. How come I come home for lunch? How about I eat breakfast with you? How about I work from home 2 days a week? That way you're not lonely all the time because you don't want to go to work, but I want to go to work, but I can work from anywhere. But I do want to get out of the house, but I also want to spend some time with you. How about I work from home and we do lunch? All right, we do breakfast. We eat all our meals together, right? While I'm working. Come on now. Share a vision for how we can both be happy. It doesn't matter what's going on. Number two, I want our relationship to last for a very long time. Therefore, because I want it to last for a very long time, I'm willing to make the necessary adjustments and talk about not only how our marriage works when we're 40, but how it works at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. If we both make it to be centenarians, how do we make that thing work? How do we make this thing work and in our 20s with 3 kids? It doesn't matter. I want to make this thing work for a long time. Number three, I'm very attached to our relationship and very strongly linked to my partner. Shared vision. We're one, right? We one. We have a vision not only for how I'm gonna be good, but how my wife's gonna be good, how my husband's gonna be good, how we gonna be good. Right. Number four, I want our relationship to last forever. And number five, I'm oriented toward long-term nature of my relationship. Bam. You just heard it here first, right? You just heard it here first. Like I think about the long-term nature of our relationship. Not only am I thinking about the day to day, we need a visioneer, right? Someone who has a vision. I'm thinking about our marriage next year. I'm already planning for the empty nest, right? So when our kids turn 18, I'm already preparing for how our house is going to be with no kids because we don't want to make the kids the center of our marriage, right? We don't want to just do family stuff and no couple stuff. So I'm already preparing for the birth of another child, already preparing for the blending, already preparing for mom to live with us, already preparing for how we adjust if one of us gets sick. We're already sitting down and having these conversations. If you get sick, what do you need from me? Right? Let's have a conversation about not getting sick so it doesn't burden one of us because the other person wants to eat steak and pork chops every single day. And then I have to care for you, which stops me from my dreams of traveling the world. Right? Are you willing to adapt? Do you have a vision for us living till 50 and 60 and 70, brothers and sisters? All right. Do you have a vision when you go to the doctor and find out what that pain is in your thighs? It might be prostate problem, where you get your prostate checked, where you go get your, where you get do a daily physical. I know you're scared of the doctor, but do you have a vision for us catching this stuff early or prevention so that we can be here for a long time so neither one of us has to care for the other person financially unless we have to because that's just this how nature was. That's just what the biology was. Can y'all feel me? So I hope I hope this, and they talked about Jimmy Carter may she rest in peace, First Lady, Rosalind Carter. Um, they had best friends and 5 kids, right? So they journeyed together. That is a great example. The Obamas are another in that one wanted a dream, the other supported that dream, right? Barack wanted to be president. Michelle did not. She was a satisfier. She invested in this brother, right? She went on the campaign trail for this brother. Do you really think she wanted to do that? She's a turner. She turned towards what his dreams were, right? And she said, this is what you want to do. I'm going to support this even with 2 kids. She's an adapter. When people start coming to her and Republicans start saying all this goofy stuff about Michelle, she adapted to being in the public eye, which she didn't, and clapped back politically. And she was a visioneer because she also said that once this White House stuff is over, I'm going to write my books and we're going to be out of the public eye. And then you're going to be satisfying me. You're going to be satisfying me because you're not going to be doing all these events. And you rarely see Barack, right? You're going to invest in what I want. I want to see the world. I want to be low key. She said in her book, I want to ride down I want to actually drive and let the windows down. Now, I don't know if they can do that, right? Turner. Now he's front and center with the kids because if she has to speak and the kids need something, I would imagine that for a short period of time or maybe even long term, Barack was like, I'll be there for the kids because you had to sacrifice so many things while I was in the White House. And then he adapted. He adapted from being president of the United States to then being husband of Michelle, who owed her 8 years, who owed her 8 years of doing what she wanted to do because she gave up 8 years, probably more, to do what he wanted to do. And then he was a visionary and said, look, I want my marriage to work long term. I don't want it just work while we're in the White House. I don't want my marriage to work just right now. I don't want her to be in the White House and then we stop and then she's resentful because now I want to consult all the other presidents. Now I want to go do something else, right? Versus championing her dream. I want to be married for a lifetime. Y'all feel it? The Carters were the same way. They said, we want to solve problems together, right? We want to stay connected. Y'all feel me? All right. That's it. So we have to constantly do these things. So here's the recap, and then we're going. Satisfier, investor, turner, adapter, and a visioneer. Those are the 5 qualities of the person you really need to marry and who you need to be marriage material. Let me pray. Lord God, we thank you for everyone that watched this. Lord, I just thank you, Lord, for all that you've done and all that you're doing, Lord. We thank you. We magnify, we lift you up. We ask and pray, Lord, we're able to find these 5 qualities, not only in others, but in ourselves. So we can have 5 + 5, and then that's 10. That's going to be the perfect marriage. As much as one can have the perfect relationship or the perfect marriage, right? We just make adjustments. And I ask and pray, people that really desire that, Lord, that you allow them to be able to be these 5 and require these 5. Not just be these 5 and date a 0, date a 2, date a 3, and then have that -2 experience, what breaks our hearts. Be able to say, nah, let's go ahead and both be 5. Yes, it is a lot of hard work, but it pays off. These things we ask in Jesus' holy name. Amen. All right. I will see y'all soon. Take care. God bless.